Hi, my name is Rob, and I'm here to let you know. Hard work doesn't always mean long work. Um, Meaning, like, just because you're working a ton of hours doesn't mean that you're outworking everyone else around you. I think that there's a lot of work that kind of goes in on the front end with how to best make your time efficient. And I think that actually has a more positive impact on, I guess, the work product that you're doing on the back end, if that makes sense. So it's like a work smarter, not harder type thing. But a lot of people, I think, attribute the hours spent on a particular project or task or something as like, oh, that's a really hard working person. When in reality, like, I know 30 people that can get the same job done in half the time. Time management, honestly. Not from the sense of I need to be spending more time on work, and not even from the sense of I need to have a better work-life balance. I think I need to consistently make smarter decisions with regards to my own health that align also with kind of what my goals are. Like an example is like I'm very bad about my sleep schedule. I don't sleep very much, and what I've noticed is when I do get a lot of sleep, and the reason I don't sleep is because I'm maybe up late working, or it's the first break I've had in the day, and so I'm up just like hanging out, and I just need that personal time, that me time. And what I notice is when I don't sleep, the next day is just awful, and my productivity is down. Everything that I'm able to do is down. And so when I get that good sleep, although I might have less hours during the day, I'm working more efficiently. So it kind of goes back to exactly what I was saying before. My perception of success. No, I don't think that I'm successful. I think that I've been successful, if that makes sense. Meaning that what I've been trying to do, I've been accomplishing. So all the small tasks, all the small wins, right? Like those are successful. Like Nostalgia Noise doing its first event last year in January. That was super successful because of how well it went, right? Growing our company to a profitable stage, that's incredibly successful. But I guess I attribute that kind of success where it's just like milestones. I don't attribute that to the same way of like what I consider to be successful, because my definition of success is based on the positive impact that I have, like the positive and lasting impact that I have on the world around me. And I don't think that I've gotten that yet, and I honestly don't think I'll ever achieve that. Right. But I think that's the good part about having that set as like kind of my success goal, because that's what I want to achieve. And so it's like, although I'll never like get to the point that I'll feel satisfied, I'll spend my whole entire life working towards it. And although I might not believe that I'm successful in my definition of it, hopefully the rest of the world does. I mean, man, there's so much, so I'm like trying to figure out like which one. Like I mentioned sleep before, like that's a huge struggle of mine because it impacts my entire life. I don't like, just to differentiate, I'd probably say like personal relationships. Like one of the things that I notice is like, especially from like an entrepreneurial standpoint, is like when you start working on your own thing and you're spending all of your life, like every day, 7 days a week, building something, it's really, really hard to maintain those personal friendships and those personal relationships with people that you once maybe called your best friends, and so that's something that I'm trying to get better at. But that's definitely like been a huge struggle, I would say, because friendship and family have been like, they're everything to me. And so I think that like maintaining those relationships has been the biggest struggle. I mean, all mine are going to be around like Nostalgia Noise. Like I said before, it's like it's become my life, and so like for me, like I had growth milestones that I wanted to hit last year for the company that we just didn't hit, but the reason behind it was purposeful. Adapting to like the current conditions of like everything that's going on was like super important to us, and it is in hand allowing us to like compound the value that we're going to achieve. So I think like, last year we didn't hit certain growth milestones that I really did want to hit and we could have hit, but we purposely didn't do that because we decided that the importance of building the community of what we have now was far more important, and it's proven to be far more important, because without our community, we're nothing. I want Nostalgia and Noise to be recognizable across the state of Texas. That's what I want this year. Recognizable. No financial metric, no growth goal. I just want people all throughout the state of Texas to know our name and to be able to say, oh, that's that company. Damn, that's an interesting ass question. I've always been the type of person where I feel like sometimes I can be a chameleon, like it's like whatever that person needs me to be, I can be that, and I do that for a multitude of reasons. It's the same reason as like if your girl asks you if she looks fat in a dress, you're not going to say no, right? Or you're not going to say yes. But I think that there is a deep, deep part of me that wants everyone to like me. But I think that as I've grown up, I've cared less and less about it. I think years ago it had a massive impact on who I was, and kind of how I presented myself. But honestly, it took me taking the leap with Raw and like starting this company together to really realize how much happier you can be when you block out that kind of noise, because people have their judgments, and it's you, and you see like the turnaround. As long as you put in the effort and you put in the work, like the same people that were kind of giving you crap about a business are now asking you for help, and I know that's corny as hell, but like it's true, dude. Like it's so true. And so I think it's still a yes, and I think it will always to a degree be a yes, because I'm just an innately nice person and I want to be nice. And so my whole thing is like, if I'm a nice person and someone doesn't like me, they dislike me for their own personal reasons, and so I can't be upset about that. Like last week, man. Last week, I will say like my burnouts have changed, like when I was working my last job and also like going to grad school. All right. I was doing it at the same time. I was working these crazy long days, these crazy long hours, because I would have night class right after my job. And then I would typically have to do homework right after that night class. And so like my days would start at 5 a.m. They wouldn't end until midnight, and when you do that consistently, like that burns you out. But my burnout has changed because like the work that I'm doing is so much more impactful to, I guess, my why, right? Like it's much more attributable to like what I want and like what I kind of visualize success to be, like having an impact. And so like having that instant gratification every single time we do an event, every single time an artist says thank you, every single time like we do something incredible, that helps mitigate the burnout. But yeah, I had a burnout last week just because there's always 1,000 things going on and I just had deadlines that I needed to hit, and basically it led to like last weekend where I was like, all right, I just need time to myself. I need to just take a break from all the stuff that I'm doing and just focus on just living, and not like work, and I think that setting those times aside are incredibly important, even if you have a million things to do. When I was 18, I was much more, I guess, I don't want to say goal-oriented because that's not the right way, but when I was 18, I was much more focused on the outcomes of things. And, like with like football, right? Like I was much more focused on like getting to the next level, like getting to college and playing ball. Or whatever it might be, like getting my PR for bench press up 20 pounds, whatever that is, right? And I was far less focused on the journey and the path to get there. And I think now I've been able to reverse that entirely. And so now and it's like those milestones that I set, right? Like I set these I like work back, right? It's like my goal this year, right, is to have Nostalgia Noise be this recognizable brand all throughout the state of Texas. What do I need to do? What are the medium things that I need to do in order to get there? And what are the small things that I need to do in order to get to those medium things? And what are the tiny things that I need to get to those small things, right? And so I work back. And so in doing that, my focus is now far less on like just doing what I can to get that. And it's like, let's accomplish these small things. And it's like, if we can accomplish these, I'm 99% confident that we are going to reach that goal. Dude, I vividly remember like the day it changed. It was in high school, man, and we had this baller from Notre Dame who just went to my high school. He came back into town to visit, like just to say hi to the coach and whatnot. And like he was just talking about like the importance of like sprints, right? And I was an outside linebacker and he's an outside linebacker. And so during that weekend that he was here, he just took me under his wing, right? And everyone had always been saying like speed kills. And so I was like I love weightlifting. I'm gonna get into the gym and just squat, just unlimited squats, right? But I hated sprinting. And I was like, I'm never gonna do this. I'm never gonna practice my form, my technique. I'm never gonna like actually sprint. And then he was the one that was like, no, you need to be doing this. And he's like, I'll make you a deal. Like you do this for, 3 months, right? If you don't increase your speed drastically, like I will give you like a pair of like my cleats and like a bunch of swag that he had from Notre Dame. I'm like, hell yeah. And so I started doing it and I immediately saw like changes in my game, like ladder drills, like quickness, speed and whatever. And I was like, damn, like I need to be focusing on like some of the smaller stuff that might not seem valuable, but has a huge impact. 100%. Dude, there's no such thing as work-life balance, man. It's just like how much work can you do without feeling that burnout? And like when you know that, like if it's not like an hour a day or 2 hours a day, like just like fill that 2 hours, like make sure you have that time. That's like working out for me. Like every day, that's my me time. Every day, no matter what, I got 2 hours in the morning. Like that's nothing else, Yeah. Much more specific now than it was at 18. 18 was general. I was just like, didn't really care what I did. I didn't really think that far in advance. I was freshman in college. And so I was just like, I'm gonna get by, like just every day and just do what I need to do, take the classes I need to take in order to graduate, just do my responsibilities, go to practice and do all these things, eat food. And I really didn't have any plan. I was like, it's gonna figure itself out. And, I was able to, like, luckily, like, without that focus, I was still able to do fine. But now it's much more targeted. It's like, like my life plan, it's like I have a very good idea of what I enjoy doing. And I know the different things that I can do even after Nostalgia and Noise that I want to do. And now it's very, very much so streamlined to where it's like this is what I want. And I think it's bad actually to like write a list, right? Like everything that I want to accomplish. It's the same thing with like, if you want to date a girl, right? It's like, if you have a bunch of check boxes that you need to check, like, bro, that's never going to make you happy because you're limiting your ability to be you're confining your ability to be happy based on the things that you need, right? And so I don't like make a checkbox anymore. I just like focus on doing the things today that I need to do. And I just have these very, very general kind of like goals, right? That I'm just like, I know if I continue on the path that I'm continuing on and that I'm moving on, I'm going to achieve these goals, I mean, my immature ass, like I would probably say like just being rich, like just like being loaded to the degree that I wanted to be rich, right? Like I haven't achieved that, right? And so like, but it's different now, I was like, I wasn't as calculated before, I was just like, I want to have a lot of money, right? So I can take care of my mom so that I can have all these cool things, Now it's more of like, I know that that's coming. So I just need to keep my head down because it will come, And so I haven't achieved that level. And so it's like, I don't know. I'm not like disappointed in it though.
You thought by 26 you'd be.
I would just have like a lot of money to be able to do awesome, like travel the world and do these things. And I've been able to have those experiences, but it's like not to the level that my dumb 18-year-old self like had hoped, you know? And so like I would really just say that because I really didn't have many goals. You know, it was all financial. That's actually, yeah, it was all financial. It's like I just wanted monetary success, you know? And I like was on a path where I could have achieved it by this age, and I wanted to, and I just changed lanes because I'm just basically pushing back the timeline a little bit. Probably like quit being so serious and enjoy the process. That's really the big one. It's hard not to be right now because of the level of importance, but it's going to seem like a grain of sand 10 years down the line, you know? In all reality, none of this matters. Yeah, man, if you don't have like a wife and a family, what the hell are you thinking? What the hell are you doing, dude? You know? That's really it. Like, why? You know? And it better not be because of work. That's what I'd say. That's what I'd ask and say. Take every meeting. Take every meeting. You never know who could potentially impact your life. Like, be kind to everyone and take every single meeting. Whether or not you think it's worth your time, you have no idea. You can't predict it. So, and when I say take every meeting, it's not like that serious. Like, if someone wants to grab a beer with you, go grab a beer. But take every single meeting because you're never going to have that much time ever again. And you can develop those relationships much earlier, you know? Damn, I hate that one. You're doing everything you told yourself you were going to do. That's a compliment for me. All right, man. Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Good stuff.
Oh, I like that. That was like a little therapy session.